हेलो 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 हेलो। चलो भाई, आज खेलेंगे हम आउटर वर्ल्ड्स का डीएलसी जिसका नाम है पेरिल ऑन गॉर्गन। ये फर्स्ट डीएलसी है इसका, तो इसलिए इसको पहले खेल रहा हूँ मैं मर्डर ऑन एरिडान उससे पहले। ठीक है, तो स्टोरी जो मेन स्टोरी थी, अपनी साइड क्वेस्ट वगैरह थे, वो सब तो हमने लास्ट स्ट्रीम में एंड ही कर दिए थे, ख़त्म कर दिए थे सब, तो कुछ बचा नहीं था। बस यही है कि अब डीएलसी बचे हैं, डीएलसी खेलेंगे, डीएलसी देखेंगे कैसे हैं इनके, क्या किस टाइप के बनाए हैं इन्होंने डीएलसी अपने। अच्छा, इसमें क्या करना है? Peril on Gorgon is recommended for players who have reached level 25 or higher. To begin your adventure on Gorgon, you must have completed one of these quests. ये तो हो रखे हैं भाई। चलो कंटिन्यू। चल लोड करता हूँ ना, यहाँ पे लोड करता हूँ, क्योंकि यहाँ पे लोड करूँगा ना तो फिर सीन हो जाएगा। यहाँ पे मेरे को यहाँ पे मतलब गेम ही एंड है ना पूरी, तो यहाँ से मैं डीएलसी सेलेक्ट भी नहीं कर सकता, तो यहीं से पॉइंट ऑफ नो रिटर्न से मेरे को करना पड़ेगा स्टार्ट। और पॉइंट ऑफ नो रिटर्न में दिखाएगा कि मैंने अभी तक मेन क्वेस्ट नहीं करा, पर वो मैं कर चुका हूँ। इन्होंने जब गेम एंड हो गई थी ना मेन स्टोरी, इन्होंने उसके बाद एक्सप्लोरेशन नहीं दी ना फुल, कि हाँ भाई तुम अब भी एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हो। इन्होंने गेम ही एंड कर डाली पूरी उसके बाद। ब्रेव न्यू वर्ल्ड, हाँ। मेरे को क्या करना था ये ना, पेरिल ऑन गॉर्गन। इन्वेंट्री, ठीक है सब।
Please do not leave items lying about the cargo hold.
Hawthorne, if you're getting this, something's happened to me. Got mixed up in some shady business on Gorgon.
अबे ये क्या है?
Should have known better. But I landed on something big.
गॉर्गन प्लेनेट का नाम है
Now
क्या?
this job's an itch I can't stop scratching. There's a whole research compound left to the Sprats. I think I'm close to figuring out why. But something dangerous is closer to me. Got the job through one Mini Ambrose. Top runger who just came into some money, was offering a hefty bid card for qualified help. Trust me, her money's good. Talk to Minnie. Take the job. If I ain't gonna live to see the payday, might as well be you. Consider us even, old pal.
You can now travel to Ambrose
That
Manor.
fellow certainly seemed trustworthy.
I've gotten jobs from some unusual sources, but this is a first.
Speak to Mini Ambrose.
Congratulations, Captain.
I don't mean to sound
Ambrose,
Captain, but
Ambrose नाम से मेरे को कोई
there's gotta
रेसलर
be a
याद आ
better way
रहा
to
है।
ask someone to do you a favor.
I just want to say, we gotta take this job. This is the closest I ever been to starring in a serial drama. Only thing we're missing is a couple cameras and a soundtrack.
At least this won't be boring.
Lucky Montoya owed Captain Hawthorne a considerable debt. I believe this is what humans refer to as payback. Captain, the message contains landing coordinates for a small asteroid in the Charybdis cluster. It was recently registered to a Wilhelmina Ambrose. He was an old friend of Alex Hawthorne's.
अच्छा,
Lucky Montoya had a statistically significant tendency to encounter situations of extreme danger.
Oh, really? I thought he lost his arm gambling.
He was also the fourth best paid freelancer in the system. There are several hundred freelancers operating in Halcyon. Considering the numbers, Mr. Montoya ranked among the top percentile. This had less correlation with his measured aptitudes, which rank at or below average, than with a pattern of fortunate circumstances. Based on the condition of the limb, I calculate a 92.7% chance that Mr. Montoya expired from his injuries. There's what humans colloquially call a sprat's chance in a mantisaur's den. That is a very low chance, Captain. I have transferred the coordinates for Ambrose Manor to your navigation terminal. We can travel there when you are ready.
Hawthorne,
भाई हाथ
getting
लगा हुआ है
this.
इसके साथ मशीन के
Something's
साथ.
happened to me. Got mixed up in some shady business on Gorgon. Should have known better. But I landed on something big. And now this job's an itch I can't stop scratching. There's a whole research compound left of the Sprats. I think I'm close to figuring out why. But something dangerous is closer to me. Got the job through one Mini Ambrose. Top runger who just came into some money. Was offering a hefty bid card for qualified help. Trust me, her money's good. Talk to Minnie. Take the job. If I ain't gonna live to see the payday, might as well be you. Consider us even, old pal.
Good to see you, boss.
Hey, Cap.
Sure.
Right now, I'm feeling like a canid following a trail of treats. Like I'm being misled at best. At worst, walking into a trap. Keep those eyes open, Captain. Hey, Cap.
Good to see you, boss. Didn't I tell you? I'm secretly the chairman's orphan child, abandoned at birth in the back bays.
Chairman's orphan child.
Honestly, before you picked me up, I was living in the back bays. Spent my whole life up there, watching ships roll in and take off. Always wondered when my ship would come. I was what folks on the Groundbreaker call a stowaway. Means I was invisible. Life carried on for everybody else, but not for me. I had to make my own way. Stowaways ain't free. We were just as trapped as anybody else. We didn't belong in the system, but we still had to live in it. We still had to play by the board's rules. Imagine spending your whole life looking out at the stars, and knowing you could never aspire to be anything more than a box hauler. That's what it's like. Hauling boxes was about the only work I could find. Hated every second of it. Foreman and I never got on. Could be I was overreacting. A better man might have turned the other cheek. Exercised a little bit of that, what's the word? Restraint? But on the other hand, broadsiding the jackass with a tossball stick, that felt good. That felt real good. You ought to try it. That's what I like about you, boss. You got a mean swing. I caught a real lucky break. If you hadn't picked me up, I'd still be back at the docks, waiting for the day my ship arrives. That's just crazy talk. You know we'd never have a problem. Thanks for listening, boss. Let's get going. Good to see you, boss. So we just sat around a table talking about a severed arm. Of all the weird things that happened on this ship, that ranks somewhere in the middle. You ever watch The Masked Marketeer?
Nah.
Boss, I'm going somewhere with this. Episode 5 of The Masked Marketeer. First appearance of a recurring villain. Big ol' galoot, built like one of those industrial-class garbage compressors. His name? Tiny. Every adventure serial's gotta have a supporting character with an ironical name. It's a rule of the Genry. Masked
Genry?
Marketeer had a massive bruiser named
Genre नहीं
Tiny,
बोलते इसको,
and we
Genry
got
बोलते हैं.
ourselves a real unfortunate hullhead named Lucky. Coincidence? I think not. We're freelancers. We take any job we can get. But this one? The dying message of a stranger. A severed hand delivered in a crate. Let's just say it beats flying around the colony running errands. So, of course, I'm gonna be excited. You know me, boss. Eyes on the prize.
Something on your mind? If there's one thing you could say about Lucky Montoya, he was always at the center of a story. Guess this is fitting. Sure, like Ada said, he was a big name among freelancers. I met him at Lost Hope once. He was buying rounds for everyone and telling a story about one of his jobs. Pretty sure half of it was made up. You ever get the feeling someone's just trying too hard? I'm gonna ignore that bit of subtext, Captain. There was just something about Montoya I couldn't quite trust. He was always the center of a room, and he slapped a lot of backs to stay there. I'm trying to say that if he screwed this job up, that's on him. I still like our odds. He may have had a rep, but you're more capable than he ever was. Yeah, well, just remember that when we get paid. What's on your mind? From his arm? The decay makes it hard to tell. Could be a lot of things. Torn off by something with big teeth, torn off by something with big claws, torn off by someone with a moderately sharp blade. Or maybe he just got too close to heavy machinery. Sure. Something on your mind?
As always, I am at your disposal. Anything you'd like to discuss? Perhaps it's just my judicious nature, but I think we should be careful if we're following up on this lucky fellow's message. I've always felt caution as the best approach when one has delivered a message attached to a severed limb. He sounded lost, perhaps slightly untethered from reality. A feeling I know all too well. It doesn't strike me as a setup, but I still advise caution. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Please do not leave items lying about the cargo hold.
पार्वती ऊपर क्या कर रही है?
Felix keeps asking me to watch some adventure serial with him. It's not my thing, but he's real sweet about it. It's a shame about what happened to that lucky fella. Maybe finishing what he started will help put his spirit to rest. Not a word. And I've been sticking my nose in every one of our stately ladies' crannies, stem to stern. Oh, law. That sounds untoward, don't it? That ain't what I meant. Point is, Captain, Mr. Hawthorne left all kinds of scribblings behind panels and under consoles, but ain't a lick of it mentioned Mr. Lucky. So whatever they got up to in the past must have been really extra secret. And lots of fun. It sure is lonely out here on the edge of the colony. Anything could happen. And ain't no one gonna come to help us.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be? I require.
कहाँ कहाँ जाना है? प्लेनेट ही है भाई गॉर्गन। चलो
We arrived at Ambrose Manor.
एली और नियोका को ले लेता हूँ।
Welcome to Ambrose Manor.
वह भाई
You
तो
were not
मेंशन है पूरा।
expecting company. Please follow. Do not stray from the path.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
कहाँ जा रहा है?
Been there, little guy.
It can't help itself. These do not be concerned.
वाह भाई।
Keep your guard up. Could be all manner of surprises in there.
अबे ये क्या असली मछली है क्या?
There ought to be something worth stealing there.
साल्टूना पॉन्ड।
Okay, maybe not.
I take it back. Ain't nothing here but memories.
Huh? Apparently not. Oh, join me for a drink, mister.
ये आवाज़ कहाँ से आ रही है?
So who the devil are you? You don't say. Well, make yourself at home, Captain. I'm sure we have much to discuss. Do you see that glowing chunk of space rock? That's Gorgon. My birthright, my burden, and the bane of my existence.
अच्छा वो है
I
गॉर्गन।
hate to drink alone, and this is my third. So join me in raising a glass to Gorgon. To Gorgon. May cosmic winds shepherd her to the nearest star. I'm Wilhelmina Ambrose, but you can keep it short and call me Minnie. Now, what brings you to my house, handsome? I take it you didn't come all this way for the beverages, the starry skies, or the pleasant company. A severed arm. How positively ghoulish. You know this is a private residence, not a curio shop? Really? Huh. Now this severed limb, did it have dark hair? Rugged knuckles? Chewed fingernails? A gunslinger's calluses? I can only think of one man daring enough to jettison his extremities on my behalf. Lucky Montoya is my personal freelancer. Fascinating man. Very brooding and theatrical. Always staring into space and twirling a bullet over his knuckles.
He's definitely not doing that anymore.
But if something happened to him... Oh dear. I suppose that makes him my former freelancer now? You suspect foul play? Interesting. If we're being honest, I haven't given it much thought. What a time for his luck to run out. We were in the middle of something grand, and I really can't afford another setback. Settling an old score. How would you like to be my new freelancer? There's been a recent vacancy, and I think you're well suited to the job.
Remember, play hard to get. That's negotiation.
You're awful quick to trust a bunch of strangers that broke into your home.
I'm looking for someone rough around the edges. A gorgeous, dashing scoundrel type. Incidentally, someone good with their hands. The man lost an arm. What are the odds of that happening twice? Of course, Gorgon is a treacherous place, and my own family's involvement with it has been fraught. Allow me to lay out the facts, and you can decide for yourself if you want to be my chief investigator. My mother, Dr. Olivia Ambrose, worked for Spacer's Choice at the Gorgon Research Facility. She was brilliant, the top scientist in her field, until tragedy struck. I wish I could say otherwise. One day, Spacer's Choice shut down all research and evacuated Gorgon. Everyone had to scramble or risk getting left behind. It was chaos. Employees fled for their lives. Mother never made it home. I'm told she wasn't the only casualty that fateful day. Mother's name has since been dragged through the mud. Spacer's Choice blames her for the collapse of Project Gorgon, and I just know they're lying. Why, indeed? To cover up their crimes? To discredit someone who knew too much? I'm hoping you can find out for me. Mother would not have allowed Project Gorgon to fail. Something happened on that asteroid. My family
एस्ट्रॉयड है
took
वो
the fall
प्लेनेट
for
नहीं
it.
है.
I don't know. And Spacer's Choice won't say. They don't discuss anything that tarnishes their brand. Gorgon has a dark history. The project fell apart. Personnel were shuffled across the system. With Mother gone, now I'm all that's left. No doubt someone is out there who could talk. Someone involved in Mother's research. Someone paid for their discretion. Then again, why pay for silence when you can buy it for the low, low cost of a bullet? That's the Spacer's Choice way. The asteroid may look like a glittering jewel, but I assure you the resemblance ends there. Gorgon is poisonous to the core. One might even say cursed. I admired Mother, but we weren't close. She disapproved of everything about me, really. I couldn't measure up to her example. She didn't make time for us. I remember thinking that she never wanted a child, and never forgave me for being one, naive and irresponsible as I was.
Trust me, we are nothing alike.
A kindred spirit. Well, well, charmed. Today is full of surprises. Mother worked herself to the bone. She wanted to make the colony a better place, no matter who or what got sacrificed along the way. She never spared a thought for those of us who cherished her, who suffered for her idea of progress. It was difficult on us, but not so difficult for her. Mother and Gorgon were made for each other. I had the misfortune to be stuck in the middle. I need your help, Captain. Project Gorgon killed Mother and disgraced the Ambrose name, and no one has been held accountable. Spacer's Choice buried the past like a dirty secret. I don't place bets on uncertain odds. Let's say I have a good feeling about you. Whatever happened on Gorgon wasn't Mother's fault. I simply need the evidence to prove it. We're going to drag the truth kicking and screaming into the light, even if it means bringing ruin and humiliation to Spacer's Choice. All the evidence I need should be in Mother's journal. You can find it in her office on Gorgon, in the heart of the old research facility. I'm not surprised. Between the family drama and the corporate conspiracy, it must feel like you've stepped on a landmine. Speak freely, Captain. I suspect it will prove that corporate greed and incompetence were to blame for the calamity at Gorgon, and not Mother. Mother was a brilliant woman. Difficult, cold, unreachable even, but brilliant. Spacer's Choice evacuated in a hurry, leaving a fortune's worth of equipment in their wake. Mother's journal would have escaped their notice. This is my last hope of redeeming the Ambrose name. I don't like my chances, but I have to try. And I need help. Your help. I didn't want to go anywhere near Gorgon. Once I exhausted all my options, the search led me back here. I even had Mother declared legally dead. Would you believe it took 5 years to process the paperwork? Mother's body is still on Gorgon. No body means no death certificate, which means no inheritance. I killed Mother, just on paper, of course, so I could claim my inheritance. We wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have access to the family fortune.
Damn, wish I'd thought of that.
I once assumed the mansion and the money would be enough to redeem the Ambrose name. But even in Byzantium, prestige must be earned, and it can so easily be lost. Precisely. The smear campaign against Mother was the work of cowards. I'm vindicating the family name for her, for the colony, and for my future. At the very least, I can guarantee that we learn from our mistakes. A failure on the scale of Project Gorgon should never be allowed to happen. This colony is in trouble. The lunatics at Spacer's Choice are running the asylum, and we need better people to wield their influence. After Gorgon, I quickly discovered that the Ambrose name was cursed, for lack of a better term. I had no place among the decision-makers. No seat at the table. That's Byzantium for you. Gossip-mongering's a bigger sport than tossball. That is why I'm clearing the record and vindicating the Ambrose line. For Mother. For me. And for the generations who will one day inherit Halcyon. I'm counting on it. much as I do, I'm afraid. Spacer's Choice abandoned Gorgon, but the asteroid is far from unoccupied. Between the marauders, the wildlife, and whatever escaped the labs, danger abounds. Your guess is as good as mine. I know that Spacer's Choice bred canids, especially for Gorgon. They were supposed to act as living cattle prods. By now, they've probably gone feral. Just watch yourself. If you aren't careful,
मतलब वाइल्ड
you'll
लाइफ
stand to lose
मिलने
more
वाली है
than
भाई
one.
उस प्लेनेट पे.
I believe that covers it all. Are you ready to get started? We mustn't allow the trail to get cold. You do all that for me? I was hoping you'd take the job, but I didn't expect you to care. That won't be a problem. I've got a whole family fortune to squander on travel expenses, snacks, and the like. When you reach Gorgon, pack a weapon you trust. The corporate lockdown hasn't stopped the wilderness from squirming in through the cracks. There's a little saloon near Gorgon's landing pad, the Sprat Shack. Lucky was renting a room, so if you want to follow his trail, that would be the place to start. I think I've heard of that place. Cheap whiskey, rough crowd. You'll love it.
क्राउड कहाँ से आ
Or to
गया?
stop in and taste the local flavor.
Just so we understand each other, money is no object.
और अभी भाई
I'm
कैसे हो?
willing to
वेलकम टू द
squander the
स्ट्रीम.
family fortune if you get
ये
me
क्या
what
नाम
I
कर दिया?
want.
अभी
Between your payment and
प्रिवेरी
any
का
salvage
बेस्ट
you happen
फ्रेंड
across, you'll walk away from this rich enough to buy a mansion of your own.
खत्म
How
नहीं
does
हुई
that
अभी
sound?
तक. खत्म, अरे स्टोरी खत्म हो चुकी है. डीएलसी खेल रहा हूँ मैं. डीएलसी 2 डीएलसी हैं इस गेम में, तो ये पहला डीएलसी चल रहा है अभी.
The cash? No one's ever done this before, and the only person who tried
Peril
is a
on
corpse.
Gorgon.
Believe me, that's enough. Here's your nav key, Captain. Safe travels. A word of advice before you go, Captain. Trust no one. Mother's office is in the heart of the Gorgon facility. You're free to salvage anything that isn't nailed down. I only want what's mine.
Salvage rights and a paycheck? This is almost too good to be true.
It's not theft if she's giving us permission.
चलो भाई. प्लैनेट तो मस्त दिख रहा है वैसे, पर जब पहुंचेंगे तब पता लगेगा क्या सीन है. गेट खोल खोल के देख लूं क्या है भाई. अबे तो वही आ गया. भाई वॉशरूम देखो भाई. फास्ट ट्रैवल ही मार लेता हूँ. अबे फास्ट ट्रैवल नहीं हो रहा. ये क्या है? यहाँ पे अजीब सी लाइट जल रही है. ट्रैंक्विलिटी गार्डन.
This unit is under construction. Thank you for your patience.
अभी तक यहीं पड़ा है ये. टा टा टा. कहाँ जाना था मुझे? गॉर्गन लैंडिंग
We are
पर.
now in orbit above Gorgon.
बड़े जल्दी आ गए. कोई टूम रेडर जैसी सीरीज शुरू कर। टूम रेडर जैसी जैसे एग्जाम्पल? अरे मैं ना अभी वही वाली गेम्स खेल रहा हूँ जो मेरी लाइब्रेरी में पड़ी हैं, समझ रहे हो? और टूम रेडर जैसी कोई मेरे पे पड़ी है नहीं। टूम रेडर पड़ी हैं, पर वो टूम रेडर मैंने सारी ऑन स्ट्रीम ख़त्म कर रखी हैं। बताओ, अगर टूम रेडर की जैसी कोई गेम है उसका एग्जाम्पल दो, उस हिसाब से सोचूंगा फिर।
Well, here we... Hey, is that the saloon? I feel better already.
ओ भाई, अबे ये क्या दिख रहा है मेरे को उड़ता हुआ? स्प्रेट, ये क्या खराब है क्या? लिफ्ट ही खराब हो रखी है, सीढ़ी से जाना पड़ेगा। ले ओ भाई, टांगे टूट गई। अबे ये कौन? अच्छा एली है। इसको डिसेबल कैसे करूं? ये तो पूरा ब्लॉक कर रखा है। यहाँ पे है तो कोई।
No one lasts long on Gorgon unprepared. Is that what my thoughts sound like? Law, I've been standing near that alarm too long. You looking for supplies, stranger? Let's stock up here. If you run low on bullets out in Gorgon's far reaches, there ain't no one around here liable to help you out. Let me know if you're looking for something particular.
So this is Gorgon.
You mean you came out to this asteroid without knowing nothing about it? Me too. Heard it was wild here and couldn't resist. Trouble is, if you wander off to somewhere you oughtn't be, like way out in Gorgon's farthest reaches, odds are slimmer of your bits finding their way to my pockets. If you want my advice, stick close to the Sprat Shack, unless you fancy having your limbs torn off and eaten. All right, you know you better than I do. Just be sure you watch out for the Marauders. That's the #1 thing. Oh, and the Mance. You watch out for Marauders, Mance, and Charles from accounting, and you'll probably be fine.
Charles कौन है भाई? Who's Charles from accounting?
Only the meanest Marauder on Gorgon, and
अच्छा,
also
Marauder है।
anywhere else. That man is crazier than a bag of canids and twice as likely to bite. He will bust your head open like an overripe mock apple if he so much as sees you. I ain't joking. He'll snap you in half like stale bread noodles. Sorry. Been a minute since I last ate. Charles from accounting is like... Imagine if you took 3 of the most howling mad marauders you could find and mashed them together. That's Charles. That ain't right. Well, I warned you. If you run off and get exploded to death by a madman with a rocket launcher now, that's on you. Sure, okay. He's got a rocket launcher. Couldn't say. He kills anyone who gets close enough to ask. Look, long story short, you do not fuck with Chuck. Best to avoid the
Chuck
Marauder
कौन आ
camp
गया?
entirely.
Charles को
That's
Chuck बोल
my
रहा
2
है क्या?
bits on the matter. Yeah? The Marauder camp way out to the east. That's what I heard, at least. And I sure
अच्छा।
hope you're asking so you can keep a safe distance away. Yeah? His name is Charles and he used to work in accounting? Anything else you needed? Huh? Oh, you don't gotta worry about that. Something to do with that scrap project Gorgon from years back. Thanks for turning it off, by the way. I'd have lost my mind if the damn thing had gone on much longer. We tried. Couldn't persuade the control terminal to listen. No one round here is particularly mechanically inclined, and no one was gonna shut it down by force. That's for sure. I know, because even von Hoffman couldn't bash it in. And I seen that tough son of a gun throw a man clean across the
ये
scratch
कौन आ
shack
गया?
one
Von
time like he
Hoffman.
were a toss ball. Only that Spacer's Choice shut it down in a big hurry. From what I heard, some of their folks got left behind even. Don't seem like the project ended well. Found a pickaxe in the mine like none I've ever seen before. Could be awful useful if you're the violent type.
ये क्या ही करूँगा भाई? हैंडी डिस्कश क्या है? द ओरिजिनल ब्रांड नेम व्हाट वर्जन नेवर गॉट ऑन. इसको क्या ही करूँगा भाई? तो बेकार है. चलो भाई. मैप तो बड़ा है. अच्छा यही है बार. स्प्रेड शैक.
Come here. Let's have a chat.
आ रहा हूँ भाई, रुक जा. अरे यार चुरा भी नहीं पाऊंगा इसका सामान.
Fine. You're on my list now, bub.
भाई तो अकेला ही है यहाँ पे. One of अच्छा ये है one of men.
All right, inspection time. Look at my eyes for as long as you can without blinking. Starting now. Good. Look up. Now look down. You're doing swell. Now, name and occupation. Good enough for me. You're cleared to pass. That was a sanity check. If you had changed like the others, it'd be in your eyes. You'd also be drooling, cursing, and making a mess of the place. Welcome to the Sprat Shack. You can head on downstairs.
अच्छा सिक्योरिटी वाला था क्या ये?
Just don't ask me to dance. Every day, salvagers and scrappers set out to comb the ruins and make their fortune. The ones who come back, they aren't always the same men or women who left. They change. Never for the better. Just don't ask me to dance. Bouncer, bodyguard, law enforcer. I make sure the Sprat Shack gets only the highest caliber of clientele.
And I thought this place was gonna be fun.
Well, I hope you look the other way just this once.
We get a lot of brand-loyal corporate types, and a lot of cutthroat freelancer types. Both sides have their share of dirty scoundrels. And I hate dirt. This is a sublight bar, so most of our regulars come to plunder the old labs. The facility's locked up behind miles of red tape, so progress is slow. A lot of time to drink and reevaluate, then venture out and try again. Something bad happened here. Spacer's Choice was developing chemicals. The kind with nasty side effects. Marauders outnumber the rest of us 10 to 1. Either they came from Gorgon, or something draws them here. I don't know which is worse. This place is under a dark cloud, stranger. That's all I know. If you want the history of the Sprat Shack, talk to Lex behind the bar.
अच्छा.
Watch yourself out there. What's on your... Stay cool.
Smell that? Cheap whiskey and stale cigarettes. My kind of place.
Been an age since I had a good trip of kale. Hope they've got it on tap.
ये रहा Lex. ये तो लड़की है.
You're a humbug, Trixie, and worse, a thief. That was my salvage, Trixie. You had no right to it then, and you've no right to it now.
I risked my life sneaking around Marauders to claim that wreck. And I didn't see your name on it.
Now you've done it. Eat fist!
All right, that's enough! This is a family establishment.
भाई
You want to make a mess?
ये
You
लड़की
make it
जूनली जैसी
outside.
लग रही है मेरे को. जूनली जैसी.
But this was personal, Lex. It's a question of salvage. That wreck was gonna make me a fortune.
It's the same fight every day. 5 years we've been at this, and we still can't agree on how to properly tag salvage. Now you two listen, this is my place. While you're in the Sprat Shack, you'll sit quietly, or I'll forbid you to come here at all. Is that understood?
Here, here. Bars are for drinking. The poor decisions that result are better left outside.
Fair's fair. I'll have a stout, and we'll settle this later on our own terms.
It's no good to leave a fight unresolved. If I don't do something, these two are gonna be at each other's throats. Would you do me a favor and weigh in as a third party? I can use an unbiased set of eyes on the problem, and an outsider like you fits the bill. Freddy, Trixie, go on and make your case to the generous stranger.
I'll start, seeing as I'm the one who's been most wronged in this equation. Oh, very formal. Freddy the Scab, freelancer for sublight salvage and shipping, same as my father before me.
Junkyard Trixie. Also a salvage freelancer. Though, I've been at it longer than Freddy.
So, just up the road and due east of here, there's a shipwreck lodged in the mountainside, right? I staked my claim on that wreck. Then I wandered in for a drink. An hour later, Trixie swaggers in bragging about her salvage. Ugh, the nerve of some people. I climbed on top of it and called out in my loudest voice, "Finders keepers!"
I don't know about legal, but it's legit by sublight standards. Assuming anyone was around to hear it, which we can't know for sure.
Someone must have heard me. They just ain't brave enough to step forward and admit it. What if I were to sweeten the deal? Say the salvage is mine, and I'll give you a share of the finder's fee.
Bullshit. That ain't fair. When I found the shipwreck, there were no salvage mark. See, the whole area was teeming with bloodthirsty marauders. So I snuck around and added my tag, clear as day so no drunken idiots could claim the salvage out from under me, Freddy.
For the record, when I heard the marauders coming, I left. Trixie must have set her mark down after me.
I kept my mouth shut during his story. He should have the courtesy to return the favor. Anyway, that's my story, sir. I drew next in the dirt, with my toe. Wouldn't surprise me in the least, but that doesn't mean it ain't mine.
In all my years, I've never heard a more contentious argument. I don't envy your shoulders for bearing the weight of responsibility. You've heard it from them both. So, who gets the salvage?
एक ऑप्शन भी है कि these idiots don't know how to tax salvage, so I rule in no one's favor.
What? I've never heard of such goody two-shoes, law-abiding humbuggery in all my life.
Thank you. Law, it's hard to get a fair trial in this sprat-fucked colony.
Here's a six-pack on the house, plus your fee. Maybe now we'll finally get some peace around here for a change. A little too often, if you ask me, but that's the sublight way. Anything worth doing is worth fighting over. I'll write to Lilia Hagen in the corporate office on Groundbreaker. She'll get some haulers to drag it away. It'll take a while. Nothing happens fast around these parts. But at least the salvage would get a good home. Come and chat if you're ever feeling thirsty.
We could always go back and rile him up again later.
It ain't fair. That salvage was mine first.
I may have been overserved.
Sorry about Freddy and Trixie. When they're not fighting over salvage, they're fighting over the bed sheets at night. They like to blow off steam during work hours, but as soon as they clock out, they turn into a pair of kittens. Welcome to the Sprat Shack. First one's on the house, and I won't even water it down. What'll it be? Bottoms up. I assume you're here for salvage. Even if I did, I ain't supposed to play favorites. Most of my regulars are sublight scavengers. They pick over the ruins of Gorgon, spend their earnings at the bar, and head back out the next day. Vicious cycle, but that's life. You're the first new face I've seen in a while. Lucky. Sure, I knew him. He could get a little dramatic at times, but he was a good guy. Heard he took on a dangerous job. Spent a lot of time coming and going from the Office of Creative Incubation, just down the road. That's where the top rungers at Spacer's Choice came up with slogans and marketing. Lucky never told me why it was so important. Awful shame about what happened to him. You really want to hear my story? Law, most everyone around here is sick to death of it by now. Last I saw of Lucky was a few days ago. I went outside for a smoke and a stroll, and I saw this wild canid dragging a bloody limb. So I kicked the canid, scared it off. 3rd floor. Once I figured he wasn't coming back to pay his tab, I left his room unlocked to air it out. You can help yourself to anything you left behind. Fair warning, I've been letting the regulars use it for a quick lie down. Just wash your hands when you're done. Trust me. Spacer's Choice used to brew pharmaceuticals in these parts. That's why the asteroid smells like an old gym sock. They say adrenatime came from here, just down the road at the old R&D lab. Very hush-hush back in the day. Roscoe might tell you more. He spent some time around here before the bar opened up, and I trust him well enough. There's always Leonora, my favorite customer over in the storage room on the 2nd floor. Keeps to herself and always closes out her tab. He's been here since opening day. I think he told me he was some kind of journalist. He got left behind when Spacer's Choice pulled out. And I guess no one's coming to get him. He didn't tell me and I didn't ask. I'm his bartender, not his human resources rep. If you believe the chatter, a lot of good folks got left behind, and a lot of bad folks made it out. Sometimes that's all there is to it. Roscoe's drinks are on the house. We all know how it feels to get left behind. He'll be all right. He's with the family now, and we take care of our own. Nice lady. Been coming around a lot these past few months. She isn't with Sublight, but seems to know the lay of the land better than anyone. She spends most of her days drinking alone. I think she's looking to hire someone, if you're open to a side gig. Now that you mention it, I thought I saw those two sharing stories over a pint. Didn't think twice about it. I don't speak ill of the dead, but Leonora deserves better company. That Lucky was no good for her. What are friends for, eh? I doubt anyone knows the full story. One day the evacuation order went out. Grunts and lab coats scrambled to get anywhere but Gorgon. And the weirdest thing of all, adrenatime still hit the market. Me, I never touched the stuff. To each their own, but I think it's dangerous. Damn right we are. We've got drugs, scrap metal, prototype weapons, drugs, money, and more drugs. When Spacer's Choice evacuated, everyone dropped their gear and ran. Most of it stayed where it fell, and all of it is up for grabs. Of course, the real treasure is whatever's locked up in the old facility. Until someone figures a way to crack it open, we're just sifting through dirt. You got it, bub. Yes and no. The Sprat Shack used to be a shipping and receiving warehouse during the old Project Gorgon days. When Spacer's Choice pulled their guys off-world, Sublight moved in to salvage what we could, and they put me in charge. Yes and no. We're doing a lot more than squatting. We're classing up the joint, keeping the riffraff outside where it belongs. They didn't even serve drinks until I arrived. Talk about wasted potential. Yes and no. Rumor has it there's a Sprat wandering around the Groundbreaker, and he's the legal owner of the Sprat Shack. Hagen's idea. See, Hagen didn't want a paper trail that led back to her, so she gave the bar to the Sprat. If there were any legal problems with this place, the Sprat would do the time.
You know, they do something similar in Byzantium. Fancier system, but same idea.
Anyway, that's what the paperwork says. I don't make the rules. Easy. His name's Matt. The beautiful thing is, no one could tell Matt Sprat apart from an ordinary vermin. I think that's kind of the point, to send the authorities on a wild Sprat chase. Never thought about that. Shit, someone could have eaten my boss. As far as business arrangements go, this one's a head-scratcher, but they say it's all above board, so that's what matters. Yes. And no. Again, that one was Hagen's idea. She told me that speaking in vague terms keeps you out of trouble. And I don't want any trouble in my place. Thirsty people come and go from all over the colony, mostly on the way to somewhere better. Some are well-connected, and not everyone pays with bits. That's how we get the unconventional goods anyhow. Sublight keeps us well-stocked with the essentials, by which I mean booze. Name your poison.
I wouldn't get too close to that railing, just in case.
The repurposed aesthetic reminds me of Fallbrook. These sublight folks really know how to overhaul a place.
Jerome would have loved this place. You don't look like one of the salvagers, no? Don't really seem like the type. You've got the look of someone who's traveled far to get here and whose journey is far from over. Not me. I'm right back where I started, and the end is almost in sight. Listen to me, being all vague and mysterious. I don't know if you're bound for the old ruins, but in case you are, can you look into something? I'd do it myself, but of course, the marauders would eat me alive. Looking for something out there. Been paying Sublight to help me, but they haven't made much progress. It is to me, but apparently it's junk to Sublight. My husband and I worked on Gorgon during the good times. Jerome was on maintenance duty. I cleaned out test tubes till they sparkled. Nowhere good, that's for sure. In his final hours, Gorgon was a war zone. Violence broke out in the labs. The hills were full of marauders. You couldn't take a leisurely stroll without an armed escort. When the order came through to evacuate, non-essential personnel drew a lottery to see who would board the first wave of ships. Jerome won. I lost. Soon as I wasn't looking, Jerome switched our tickets and pushed me to the front of the line. I got to leave. Jerome stayed behind. I never saw him again. You're a quick study. This place is greedy. It took my Jerome, and it would have taken me too. I just want one thing back. His old hip flask. I gave it to him the day we signed our marriage contract, and he carried it wherever he went. I know it's still here. No point in denying it, he died on this rock. Likely torn apart by marauders, unless he took care of himself on his own terms. I don't like to imagine what happened, but I know I have to accept it. You'd really do that for me? Law, and I'll bet you're worth 10 of those Sublight sprats. I don't have much, but if you help me, there's a little set aside for the occasion. Jerome used to drink with his buddies in a small kitchen opposite the maintenance shed. Might be a good place to check first. Yeah? That old flirt? Yeah, I let him buy me a drink or two. He talked my ear off about exciting jobs he'd done. All lies, I'm sure. He fell asleep with his head on my shoulder. That man had baggage like you wouldn't believe. I didn't think anyone could be lonelier than me. He bragged about having the key to some sort of maintenance area in one of the old buildings. I never saw it, so I just assumed he was talking himself up. He also asked if I wanted to see something gross and slimy he kept in his room, but I declined, politely. He put on quite a front, but I think he was weary, like he'd seen too much and had too little to show for it. Guess we were kindred spirits in a way. Sure thing. My condolences if you two are close. The lab coats kept quiet about the project, but the air was charged with excitement. You could feel it wherever you went. They wanted to change the world. A tenfold boost to worker productivity with no side effects? Who wouldn't salivate at the thought? I don't know what went wrong, but when the shit hit the fan, it sprayed everyone in its path, including me. You find anything out?
Huh, who's this now? Wonder if they could... Nah, who am I kidding?
What's the story with this place anyhow?
Used to be a shipping warehouse. Supplies came in, deadly chemicals went out.
Who told you that?
I worked here back in the day.
You're pulling my...
Holy shit, a fresh face. Haven't seen your like in years. Don't know what brought you to the most dangerous corner of this solar system, pal, but you're welcome here. Oh, you talked to Lex yet? She tell you to keep it civil? You wouldn't guess to talk to her, but that lady's got a mean left hook. Some kind. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Got into reporting thinking I was gonna be some sort of public intellectual. What a joke. Spent 95% of my time playing stenographer to the board, and the rest writing puff pieces on the chairman's latest beard trim. Real life and death shit. Hell, how much time do you have? I probably know more about this shit heap than most of the corpses around here. Got anything specific you want to know? Oh, this is rich. You mean Dr. Olivia Ambrose, God Empress of Gorgon? She's the maniac who ran this whole sideshow. Ran it right into the fucking ground. Hell, I wouldn't be kicking my heels in this dead-end graveyard if it weren't for her. At least she's buried here with me. That's the least she deserves. I don't know just about anything for a fact anymore. You ask me, there's no such thing as facts. So did I see her die with my own 2 eyeballs? No. But I'll tell you what. During the evacuation, folks either got out or got killed. And Leonara's the only one I'm sure still kicking. You're on the hunt for her big book of secrets, huh? Lucky was, too. Poor bastard. She used to leave it on the desk between us during interviews. She'd open it up sometimes, take notes, give me a mean look. Bet you all the bits in Byzantium it's in her office. Never saw it leave that room, not once. Top floor of synthesis and manufacturing, huddled up against her precious drug synthesizer. Got a perfect view of all her little peons scrabbling in the dirt way down below. Just how she liked it. She was Gorgon's director. Aside from that, sweet fuck all. Never met a more difficult interview subject. She had this way of answering questions. Wouldn't tell you anything straight, would always turn it back around on you. Just about did my head in, like I was trying to chat with my estranged sister or something. Shit, who didn't? The staff who weren't dead afraid of Olivia hated her guts. She caught a spy in the chem lab once. Nice guy named Herbert. Everyone loved him. Rumor was she killed him herself. Tell you what, though, her little terror campaign worked. Couldn't tease a single secret out of the staff after that. Nice enough guy. Fashioned himself one of those professional gumshoes, like in the serials. They usually work for the board, rooting out dissidents and the like. Lucky, though, he was freelance. Worked for anyone who paid, no matter their allegiance. You ask me, I think the guy just liked snooping around in folks' terminal messages. Next to nothing. He preferred to keep a tight lid on things, more dramatic that way. Not that he needed to keep secrets. Folks down here don't give two shits about anything but bits and beer. No shit. And you'll be trying to get into synthesis and manufacturing, I reckon. Lucky'd been trying to crack that nut for a while. Supposed to be locked up tight. He didn't. I mean, nothing substantial. Just that he was after Olivia Ambrose's old journal, same as you. Breaking and entering isn't my area of expertise. Got writerly hands and a cowardly disposition. You could check Lucky's room. He was up on the 3rd floor. Might be he left you some clues. Frenetic, chaotic, vicious. Take your pick. I wasn't here at the start, but going off what folks told me about the early days, Gorgon started out with promise. Thing is, the schedules coming out of the corporate office were unrealistic from the get-go, and they were trying to do the project on a shoestring budget. Couple that with the obvious personnel problems and toxic junk in the product, it was only a matter of time before it all went to hell. Adrenatime, I'm sure you know it, was a drug, something to make folks work harder, work smarter. Had a lot of nasty side effects. Didn't seem so bad to me at the time, but then I hadn't met the test subjects yet. The whole thing was real hush-hush. Lot of worry about corporate spies, especially from Anti-Cleos. I probably shouldn't even be mentioning it to you, to be honest. Spacer's Choice, they're really not fond of spies. Not much, except that there was a whole gaggle of them, and so far as I could tell, they absolutely hated each other. Dr. Ambrose would hardly let me speak to any of them, but she complained about him all the time. Everything seemed like. Marion Blakesley, for example, lady who ran HIA, wouldn't return any of her messages. Not once, for years. Jasper Lowe, guy who headed up Chem, was high more than he was sober. He insisted on running special tests on primals, too. Law knows what for. Dr. Ambrose really had it out for this guy Lawrence Goodfellow. Ran OCI. Would lose his shit if he saw red on a schedule. By the end, I heard folks were turning in completely bunk progress reports just to keep him out of their hair. Had this little minion, too, an actuary named Clarence Mosley, obsessed with quantifying every detail of his sad little life. Mosley was the guy who got me mixed up in all this. Asshole. I hope a primal ate him. Oh yeah, it wasn't just that Dr. Ambrose hated them. They seemed to hate each other, too. OCI pushed a ludicrous schedule. Chem made a bad product, and HIA returned garbage results. A regular merry-go-round of shit flying in every direction. It's no surprise it all fell apart.
So, corporate life in Halcyon.
Sounds like half the crews I run with. Not this one, of course.
Editor always did say my prose was a bit purple. Or brown, in this case. Going on 7 blissful years here in paradise. 2 years before it went to shit, and 5 years since. 2,743 joyous days. But hey, who's counting? Thank the law, no. I had an assistant, young lady by the name of Georgie. She helped out with the interviews, maintained the portable phonographs, forwarded my supervisor's call to tape, that sort of thing. When things got crazy, I shoved her onto the last ship off Gorgon. With any luck, she's safe and comfortable in Byzantium. She tried every which way to stay, but it was my contract keeping us here, not hers. Didn't seem fair she'd have to suffer just because I made a bad deal. Seems kind of crazy when you say it like that. Wasn't like I meant to stay. Shit, a place like this, full up to the gills with marauders, mantisaurs, and toxic dirt? Who would? Well, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but since you're offering, if you're going back out there, do you think you'd be willing to do an old bastard a small favor?
You know, that reminds me. I don't think you've ever actually paid me.
Well, I've been trying to get away from this rock for 5 lobby-fucked years, but I can't stay gone. Told you I was a journalist, right? I was here on a story back when Project Gorgon was active. I was doing an interview series for Spacer's Choice. Recorded them all on these little portable phonographs. But when everything fell to shit, Spacer's Choice wouldn't let me leave. Terms of my reporting contract unmet, they said. Right on the money. Look at me, I'm no fighter. I've never even touched a gun. But you're just the right amount of rough around the edges. Help me get my recordings back so I can finally get the hell out of here. Someone had been trying to steal them since the day my assistant and I started interviewing. Couldn't even keep them in my safe. They always found a way in. So I took to hiding them all over the fucking asteroid. Thought I was so clever. What a fool I was. Oh, I've tried, make no mistake. I've caught a couple of rides out with sublight folks, but the board's fixers always send me right back, and I'm not about to stand toe-to-toe with marauders just to fulfill a line item on a contract. I've got some bits saved up. Haven't had anything to spend them on but beer, and Lex has been letting me drink for free. It's nothing extravagant, you know, journalist salary and all. But the bits are yours if you want them. No shit? That's downright civilized of you. All right. One of them I stashed in the Office of Creative Incubation, in the projector room on the 3rd floor. I gave another to my friend Birdie to keep in her apartment, just outside OCI's upper entrance. Seems like a good idea at the time. Someone had started a fire, folks were shooting other folks. It was a madhouse. You'll find another in the chem lab. It's in the main lab storage room. Didn't have much of a choice. The primals had gotten loose, couple of them were chasing me. The recordings just ended up wherever I hid. The final one is in human inquiry and auditing. It's tucked behind a pipe in Observation Room B. What with the test subjects running loose, the researchers were surprisingly unobservant. Strength to your sword arm, friend. And thank you.
काफी लंबे डायलॉग थे भाई इसके साथ तो. रॉस्को.
What have you got there?
Adrenatime, I think. Found some in an old busted crate.
You're just gonna take some drug you found in the garbage?
It's not some drug. It's adrenatime.
I don't see a label.
If it wasn't safe, it wouldn't...
Someone's in here. Oh, lol. It's coming back up again. I'm all right. That last one really emptied my guts. No, wait.
अबे ये क्या मरा हुआ है क्या?
As a medical professional, I gotta say, that is very well preserved. and disgusting.
I really hope this ain't a sign of things to come.
चलो भाई,
So,
कहाँ
how you
जाना है?
feeling?
Good. Really
बाहर
good.
जाना चाहिए.
Something on your mind?
I've eaten my fair share of Terrorize, but I'm still gonna come out and say it. This mission is gross.
I'm just hoping we don't need Lucky's arm to open something else.
तो दूर है.
Whatever happened here, we're not gonna be next. Be ready. Take your best shot, asshole!
Incoming, Captain! To shreds, you say? This'll be fun.
Here we go! Clean this up, right?
हंटिंग राइफल हाइपर अल्ट्रा वाली से बढ़िया है ये. अल्ट्रा वाली ये रही. हाँ बढ़िया है. इसको हटाओ फिर. भाई ये कौन से नए प्राणी आ गए?
Dinosaurs with them? What the hell's wrong with these people?
This reminds me of... In practice, how about that? Cover each other! Nice one! Where were we? This reminds me of...
मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये मशीन गन हटा ही दूँ. मैं बहुत बेकार डैमेज देती है ये. मशीन गन हटा के कुछ लगाओ बढ़िया सा. लगा लेता हूँ स्नाइपर.
The punchline to a joke I heard once.
Initiating ocular measurement. Measurement complete. Ocular identification complete. Welcome, Clarence Mostly. Access granted. Welcome to the Office of Creative Incubation.
Find the admin terminal in the office.
Wait, is this the Spacer's Choice office?
बंदे हैं भाई यहाँ पे तो.
Definitely off.
Keen skills? Space Choice security folks can't hit the broadside of a mannequin.
They really think Adrena Time does all that?
Adrena Time brings out the hero in you.
जाना कहाँ से है? अच्छा सीढ़ी तो ये रही.
Their mistake. Want to throw it once? Anyone else?
और भी है क्या कोई?
Something on your...
अबे यार ये तो मैं वहीं आगे घूम के यहाँ से है शायद।
Be ready for anything.
Guess you get what you pay for with Spacer's Choice guards, too.
Something there.
They got the drop on us. Here we go!
फेल दिया भाई, डिस्ट्रॉयड। सब पे डिनर टाइम ही पड़ा हुआ है। यहाँ पे एक कंसोल था। एडमिन टर्मिनल कहाँ है भाई? अब तक मिला ही नहीं है।
About your test subjects, I assume you're trying new formulations on humans,
अच्छा साइड
right?
क्वेस्ट का मिला है तो। इंटरव्यू विद डॉक्टर एम्ब्रोस।
Where do they come from, Dr. Ambrose? They come from Tartarus, don't they?
They do.
Why the reluctance? Providing life-affirming employment to the indigent, the criminally indigent? Well, that's a social good, don't you agree?
I have a staff meeting to attend. Excuse me.
इसमें मेरे को किसमें लगाना था? हंटिंग राइफल में ना। इंस्टॉल मॉड। भाई बंद है ये तो। अच्छा यहाँ नीचे वर्क बेंच के लिए था शायद। अच्छा और ऊपर जाना है, यहीं से होगा रास्ता। मारो भाई। नीचे नहीं ऊपर जाना भाई।
You could fit whole families in here.
उठाते रहो भाई उठाते रहो। ये क्या है, फ्लरी गन है लगता है तगड़ी। Some weapons need to spin up before they are able to fire at their maximum rate। अच्छा मशीन का टाइप मिल गई है मेरे को। ये रही।
I knew I heard a little weasel sniffing about. You'd best go back the way you came. There's nothing for you here.
ये कौन है?
I have a message for you. This place is a graveyard. All that was done here should be forgotten and left to rot. You might, when they start shooting at you. Gorgon is the birthplace of marauders. We created them here, in this very facility. They are our misbegotten children, born of hubris and vanity.
Marauders were created?
अबे
Those bastards!
But
इन्हीं का
marauders are just mindless lunatics, right? There can't be more to it than that.
They hold no fondness for trespassers. I've placed the facility under emergency lockdown to keep them safe. Let the marauders die in peace, or I will make certain that you die with them.
I used to think it was just
अबे
life
नियो का
trying
गायब
to
ही हो
kill us.
रखी है
Starve for a week, fight to the death for a good night's sleep. We were all a little mad. Marauders were just the folks who embraced it.
I always figured they were townies who spent too long on the factory line. Guess there's more to it.
level up क्या बढ़ाऊं स्किल इसको बढ़ाओ 60 करो इसको भी 60 करो पर्क कॉम्स टावर टर्मिनल वो सब ठीक है मिशन क्या है लोकेट फैसिलिटी स्टाफ यूजिंग द कॉम्स टावर
They got the drop on it.
इसकी हेल्थ ही नहीं दिख रही थी मुझे लगा डैमेज ही नहीं हो रहा
I've seen firsthand what the corporations are capable of, and we're about to dig up their past.
Yeah, and now that someone's telling us not to go digging, I kind of want to go digging.
चलो
An old comms tower, huh? It's like I'm back at Hiram's place, running errands.
भाई ये क्या है
Birthplace of Marauders.
कॉम्स
The auto
टावर
left well enough
टर्मिनल
alone. Now we're in it. Come hell or high water, we've got to see this through.
ये क्या चिल्ला रहा है अबे पिन्नी होगा ही बची है ये क्या सीन है भाई भाई प्लाज्मा निकालनी पड़ेगी
We ought to have left well enough alone. Now we're in it. Come hell or high water, we gotta see this through.
I'm hoping this leads us to someone we can talk with face to face. Or punch, if it comes to that.
भाई हड्रीना टाइम का तो वो है ये, क्या बोलते हैं, ट्रेजर चेस्ट। हर जगह हड्रीना टाइम पड़ी हुई है। बताओ, सिंह में भी एडिना टाइम ही घुसी पड़ी है। अबे ये क्या आर्मर मोड, आर्मर के ही मोड होते हैं क्या? मैंने लगा नहीं रखे क्या? देखना पड़ेगा भाई। चलो भाई, ये बिल्डिंग तो छान ली मैंने। दूसरी बिल्डिंग ये नहीं खुली। चलो भाई, यहाँ का मैंने छान तो लिया। ये क्या सीढ़ी जा रही है यहाँ पे?
Dr. Ambrose, tell me about Adrena time.
Oh.
What does it do?
Hasn't Clarence already dumped a pile of promotional materials on your head?
Where's the fun in that? My listeners want to hear it in your own words.
It's an injectable drug that improves a patient's speed, awareness, mental acuity, and endurance. In moderation, Adrenatime will uplift the laboring classes by strengthening their minds and work ethic.
That's quite the mission. What's driving this vision of uplift?
I am a solutions-oriented woman. I see a problem and I am moved to solve it. Poverty is one such problem. Through science, I believe we can improve the poor, and in so doing, improve Halcyon.
जगह कहाँ पे जाना है वैसे? मुझे यहाँ जाना है ना, तो यहाँ फास्ट ट्रैवल ही मार लेता हूँ मैं।
Lucky's problem was that he was always overconfident in himself. But us, we got this, whatever it is.
Whatever's out here, it better be worth carrying around a man's eyeball. Here they come!
भाई इनको टॉर्च भी देनी चाहिए सूट में लगा के, इतना अंधेरा हो जाता दिखता नहीं है कुछ। कहीं पे तो आया हूँ भाई। वर्क बेंच मैं देखूं लगा के, आर्मर में लगता है नहीं भाई। लगता तो है पर शायद जो मैंने पहन रखे हैं उनमें नहीं लगता।
shipping some sulfur, it'll be like I'm back home.
Let's keep moving before we get all introspective.
अबे ये क्या है? अबे क्या भगा रहे हैं ये? अच्छा लेटर फ्रॉम एज वाटर क्या कर रहे हैं भाई? अबे सारे गेट बंद हैं तो वो वाला खुला। अबे साइड क्वेस्ट पे मिली है मेरे को तो आइटम। वाह सही है भाई, एक्सप्लोर करने में कम से कम मिशन भी हो जाते हैं दूसरे। बंदे हैक कर सकता हूँ।
This is my second month on Adrenatime. It's like the color came back. Like I was tuned to the wrong band all this time, and now the static's gone. I'm finally clear-headed, focused. There's so much I'm excited to do. I feel like me again. Side effects? I guess I've noticed people staring at me a lot more lately. Hard to talk to them sometimes. Feels like they don't get it. Maybe they just don't trust it. Or maybe they don't trust me.
Jeremy's journal. कूद जा भाई कूद जा। अबे यार ये क्या हुआ? स्लीप। कुछ मजे का नहीं है इसके अंदर। चलो भाई यहाँ से निकलो। Quest completed. Go to the Musgrave collection. और ये Musgrave collection Byzantine में है. शिप पे जाना पड़ेगा. तो उससे पहले ऐसा करता हूँ, देख लेता हूँ यहाँ पे कुछ है तो नहीं. और करने के लिए इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लिंग, इन दो जगह पे. यहाँ से मेरे को पीछे की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा है. उधर जाना मुझे. ये कौन सी जगह आ गया मैं. लिफ्ट नहीं है क्या भाई नीचे जाने के लिए. प्राइमल. रुको भाई, इसके बाद में ढूंढ लेंगे. ऐसा करता हूँ, इसके पास चले जाता हूँ, लियोनारा के पास.
Nice to have some company. If you're heading down...
No, the drinks aren't water. Good.
You find anything out there, you let me know. I'm ready to get off this rock. That's it, all right. Law. Still smells like his whiskey, his cigarettes, and that awful cologne he bathed in every morning. Here. I saved up for this, just in case I needed to go out into the ruins myself. Truth be told, I'm glad I never had to use it. You didn't happen to find anything else out there, did you?
I found his journal. He went mad after the evacuation, became a marauder. आई फाउंड जीरोमी। अच्छा, अगर मैं इसको असलियत बता दूंगा, कहीं पता चले ये उसको ढूंढने ही निकल जाए फिर भी, और ये भी मर जाए, तो बताने का फ़ायदा नहीं है शायद।
You sound like Jerome. And if he was here, I'd tell him he sounds like a damn advertisement. But that's comforting in a way. Thank you for the flask. Jerome and I were supposed to live and die together, but sometimes fate has other plans. Time for me to get off this rock. Memories hang around here like a bad smell, and I could use some fresh air.
No point dwelling on the past. That's what I think, anyway.
I don't know, Cap. I hope she'll find some peace in this, but sometimes it's better to know the truth and deal with it.
चलो भाई, इसका क्वेस्ट हो गया ना। अब चलते हैं बिजेंटियम। शिप पे फास्ट ट्रेवल। अरे यार, बाहर ही निकलना पड़ेगा। Terra 2 Adjutant Condes landing pad। ये क्या? Adjutant Condes landing pad। अकांडे, ये कौन था भाई? मैं तो भूल भी गया। छोड़ो, ही चलते हैं।
Captain, transmission request from Ambrose Manor.
Captain! Imagine my surprise when I saw the Unreliable leaving Gorgon with so much urgency and purpose. Tell me you found Mother's journal. I'm positively dying for good news. Well, isn't that exciting? A lonely asteroid, an old research facility, and now shady corporate intrigue. And here I've just been doing the crossword. Any promising leads on Mother's journal? I've watched enough detective serials to know that a promising lead can get you anywhere. Too bad. But on the bright side, you've outdone my old freelancer. I don't think you made it very far at all. If I know Spacer's Choice, getting past the lockdown will be more complicated than just hitting a big red button. You'll need authorization and layers of it. I seem to recall that Mother worked closely with Gorgon's R&D personnel, but not close enough to invite them over for dinner and cocktails, if you get my meaning. By now, they'll have moved on with their lives. If only I could do the same. I knew Mother was involved with some important chemical trials, but I had no idea her pet project was adrenatime. Adrenatime is a working man's stimulant, like a caffeinoid. Very popular at launch, though the marketing quieted down over time. What? No. I mean, there's some very morbid wording in the fine print, but I had no idea adrenatime could make marauders out of people. That's it. That must be it. Spacer's Choice is keeping their dirty little secret about Adrenatime off the record. We have to find Mother's journal. If we don't, then Spacer's Choice gets away with murder. I only hope we aren't too late. Adrenatime was touted as the working man's best friend, a drug that boosted productivity with no adverse effects. The promise of Adrenatime cannot be overstated. Exhaustion and fatigue were supposed to be obsolete. Workplace accidents would be things of the past. For whatever reason, the drug never lived up to that promise. I don't know. And thanks to Spacer's Choice, we may never find out. I know that I'd like to see a colony where the promise of Adrenatime was fulfilled. And I doubt I'm the only one. Thank you. I certainly ought to know what I'm doing. I spent years trying to break into pharmaceuticals, professionally speaking. Mother wouldn't hear of it. She didn't think I had the wit to succeed in her line of work. Safe travels. If your leads give you any trouble, be sure and give them some trouble back, yes? That's the spirit. Until next time, my good captain.
चलो भाई बाहर. यहाँ जाना है ना, यहाँ फास्ट ट्रैवल कर लूँ फिर.
Oh, there! That's one right there. Can't you just see the stench of impropriety radiating off of him? Ah, if it isn't my... Of course I am. Now I know for certain that this is the pinnacle. There's nowhere more beautiful, and no lifestyle more luxurious. I deserve the very best our society has to offer. I earned it, and thanks to you, I know that I have it. Wouldn't you rest easier too in my position? Oh, you poor, greasy space hobo. You have so much to learn. Now, do we have any further business, or are you just here for the repartee?
अभी जब बिजेंटिन में हालत खराब हो जाएगी ना एंडिंग में, तब सोचेगी ये करना क्या है.
Welcome to the Musgrave family collection. Still a work in progress. If you're here for the annual Canid review,
Nina Prescott.
I'm afraid it's already over. Only thing going on behind those doors is good, old-fashioned lawful behavior. This greeting constitutes your confidentiality agreement. You hereby agree not to disclose the location or existence of these events. Thank you for cooperating. Exactly. You do catch on fast. Now then, how can I help you? We find that our clients enjoy the appearance of participating in illegal activities. Secrecy contributes to a feeling of indecency.
This kind of thing's pretty common. Bijou's used to do a prison-themed night. Served fish sticks with tartarus sauce.
Oh, yeah. prison-themed night was the best. Plus, they gave away limited edition designer handcuffs. The Musgrave family collection was intended to be a gallery of fine art. And here we are, using this place to practice semi-legal canid shows. Scandalous, isn't it? That's privileged information. I really shouldn't tell you. That's a fair point. All right, I'll tell you. But just keep this between us.
Guaranteed secrecy is expensive, you know.
Oh, it's all right. I'll give you this little secret for free. The Musgraves own one of Earth's largest private collections of art and literature. They were going to have the entire collection shipped all the way to Halcyon. Unfortunately, that collection never arrived. We haven't heard anything from the delivery convoy, and there's some purely hypothetical concern that the collection might be, well... I was going to say indefinitely delayed by unforeseen and unknowable circumstances, but yes, let's go with that. Anyway, that's as much as I can tell you. Will there be anything else? Mr. Mostly is indeed attending our event, although I am disappointed to discover he did not officially enter his canid Laplace into our competition. You should find Mr. Mostly just inside the prep room. Head inside and take the door to your left.
अरे भाई ये तो काफी बड़ा है. लेफ्ट ना, लेफ्ट से पहले हम राइट जाएंगे.
I don't know what's worse here, the leashes or the folks holding them.
अबे क्या लड़ाई चल रही है क्या कैनेडा की?
Careful, they're cute till they go for the throat.
क्या बॉर्डर रख रखा है?
How long did you say Musgrave was gone?
I didn't. Frankly, I don't know. A couple of years. More?
एक मिनट जरा.
Oh, just hear me out. It's a brilliant idea.
Clarence Mostly. क्या नाम है ये?
Hey, Maverick Johnston's newest star. I've got a question for you. Do you know the interesting thing about canid shows? Good instincts. Mathematically speaking, the interesting thing about canid shows is this. They're an exercise in futility. Winning is predetermined. Over time, the inevitable trend is that the race goes to the swift. Time and chance are just statistical outliers. In other words, if you put enough canids through enough trials, the one with the most optimal attributes generally wins. Exercise in futility. Oh, I've been told I should try to socialize more. Sharing an interesting fact is a proven method of endearing oneself to a stranger. I'm an actuary, you see. Well, not entirely. The actuarial sciences are more of a passion than a profession. So I suppose that makes me mostly an actuary. That's a bit of a family joke. I'm Clarence Mostly. Yes, that's us. Mostly oak trees, too. My grandfather invented them, you know. Well, no, he didn't invent mostly oaks, but he did purchase the naming rights back during the terraforming days. It's essentially the same thing. Oh. Then you're not here about my monograph. It's true, I was involved with Project Gorgon, but that chapter of my life is long since closed. Listen, I don't know what you want with Gorgon or with me, but let me give you some free advice, Let the past go. Live in the moment. Enjoy the party. I left Gorgon behind for a reason. Several reasons, in fact. Corporate sabotage, abnormally high fatality rates, and the Marauders. We buried Project Gorgon for good. Don't go digging up its grave. You seem like you're in the margin of competence for a freelancer. Find yourself some better work. I was wondering if you were the sort of person to accept sensible advice or respond with threats of violence. Thank you for resolving that ambiguity for me. Lifting the lockdown won't be easy. You'll need to send overrides from the chem lab and human inquiry. I don't have that level of clearance, but I know 2 people who do. The trouble is, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I washed my hands of Gorgon, and you're asking me to dirty them all over again. I'm going to need a good reason. Yes, the birthplace of the Marauders. And a graveyard for all our mistakes. Starting Project Gorgon was our first mistake. Trying to bury Project Gorgon while it's still very much alive and clawing its way back to the surface, that may be our last mistake. I want a favor from you. Do something for me, and I'll do something for you. That way, we don't have to rely on mutual trust. A grand prize trophy to the Canid Review. I want it in my hands. Get me that trophy, and I'll give you the remaining researchers. Names, locations, as much information as I
कैनेड को
have.
लड़वाना पड़ेगा क्या मुझे?
My Canid, Laplace, is statistically superior to every other Canid in this review. Better average sprinting time, superior gait coefficient, optimal anatomical symmetry. I didn't bother entering little Laplace in this pointless contest. He's already won on paper, you see. That trophy rightfully belongs to him. Oh, you're much too kind. Does this mean you'll do it? Head into the main hall and take the elevator down into the maintenance tunnels. You'll find a service passage that leads up into the trophy room. The maintenance tunnel is the only way up into the trophy room. Some technician barred the door shut on our end. Ask Tilda Coatsworth about it, over by the podium. What's on your mind? At the moment, nothing. I have a one-track mind. I can't stop thinking about that trophy. Why isn't it in my hands? When is it going to be in my hands? And so on and so forth. You get me that Best in Show trophy, and it'll clear my mind right up. My eye! I was wondering where I misplaced that old thing. It's perfectly preserved, you know. Every eye possesses unique dimensions, not unlike a fingerprint. The circumference, the shape, the color of the iris. An eye makes excellent proof of identification, assuming you don't mind removing one. I'd rather not get into the details. If Spacer's Choice ever asks you to test out their new model of monocle, just say no.
इसको इसकी आंख वापस तो नहीं दूंगा मैं, क्या पता आगे कहीं काम आ जाए वो.
What's on your mind?
या देख देखूं.
Well, that's rather responsible of you. I'll put a good word in your permanent record.
Level up. एलिवेटर पकड़ने के लिए बोला ना इसने. एलिवेटर पोडियम यही है क्या? पोडियम ये कौन है? मिलबर्न होट्स.
I don't suppose you've any formal training in canid husbandry. I really am at my wit's end. It's my little Anubis, you see. He's listless and miserable. I simply don't know what to do about his condition. Oh, naturally. All our canids are named after the legends of the old pharaohs. Family tradition, you see. You must understand, Anubis is a very picky eater. He dines exclusively on Terra 2 Saltuna, none of that rubbish from Monarch. Unfortunately, we've had a bit of a shortage lately. He's so miserable without his Saltuna. Oh, absolutely. Egyptology is a family tradition. Did you know that the old pharaohs were buried in a monument along with all their belongings? The tradition was maintained for millennia, from Khufu all the way to Rockefeller. Really? I can't imagine why. All our sources come from board-certified academics. Interesting. This Saltuna looks exactly like the kind I give my canid. Only the label is a little different. Anubis and I are grateful for your help. I'll be sure to leave a commendation on your permanent record.
The excitement wears off rather quickly, don't you think?
अरे भाई ये पोडियम के पास किसी का नाम बोला था इसने, दिख नहीं रहा मेरे को. ये है क्या?
The excitement wears off rather quickly, don't you think?
अबे ये दोनों कहाँ गए भाई? मैं अकेला आया हूँ नीचे. आ गए.
System up. Sweeping.
Their mistake.
ले भाई टेक्नीशियन तो पिला पड़ा.
Like wrapped among the rocks. All that pomp and circumstance out there. For this. What the hell's the point?
You'd only be letting them into Byzantium temporarily. Long enough for Canids to sneak them out and chase them around.
It's the principle of the matter. Everything belongs.
I've got a lot on my mind right now. Our trophy's gone missing, but I can't file an investigation because what we're doing here is technically illegal.
A common laborer might enjoy.
You know, the careers of 9 out of 13 actors end after their debut serial. Enjoy the fame while it lasts. My trophy! Look at this thing! Have you ever seen a more garish monument to the boredom of the elite? If only Grandfather Mostly were alive today, I would have loved to wave this trophy right in front of his cataracts. I hope you won't take it personally when I say I had my doubts about you. Nothing ever gets done in Byzantium, you see. Competent work is, well, a statistical anomaly. Lifting the emergency lockdown requires overrides from the Chem Lab and Human Inquiry. Access to those facilities requires authorizations from 2 senior-level researchers, Marion Blakesley, Jasper Lowe. They went into hiding after the project collapsed, but I've managed to calculate their last known whereabouts within a reasonable margin of error. I see you're familiar with my technique. I'd love to show you my numbers, but there aren't nearly enough napkins in this room. After the project shut down, I had to keep my mind occupied. I worked on my actuarial tables, calculated the average lifespan of a spacer's choice worker, that sort of thing. I realized some of the researchers had to be alive. I ran some numbers, did a little research, and concluded that the 2 most likely survivors are Marion Blakesley and Jasper Lowe. I'll tell you what I can. Dr. Marion Blakesley supervised the Human Inquiry and Auditing Facility. Live subjects, measuring tape and syringes, that sort of thing. Someone sabotaged the facility. Blakesley tendered her resignation and vanished. I'm reasonably certain she's hiding in a maintenance bay on Groundbreaker.
Groundbreaker.
Well, with Spacer's choice equipment, who even knows? Dr. Blakesley tendered her resignation lawfully, but under suspicious circumstances. If you want to know more, you'd best ask her yourself. I'm asking you to trust in the predictive power of data. Dr. Blakesley may have disappeared after that sabotage incident, but the trajectory of her life was implied in her permanent record. Dr. Lowe described himself as a dazzling genius in his review. I disagreed. Of the 19 criteria that constitute the rubric of genius, Dr. Lowe only met 15. After the project shut down, corporate traded him off to Auntie Cleo in exchange for 5 lab coats. he's been transferred to an orbital lab around Olympus. Our office gave Dr. Lowe and his team every opportunity to develop a drug under perfectly reasonable guidelines and generous deadlines. Dr.
हेलो
Lowe
ऋतिक
failed to
भाई,
meet
कैसे
the
हो?
request
वेलकम टू द
and
स्ट्रीम.
largely succeeded in
Hello, hello,
using our
hello.
supply of drugs to get himself higher than the mortality rate of a line worker at a Saltuna cannery. Certainly. What's on your mind? Let's try to keep it down, shall we? At least pretend we're being discreet? There's not a lot about Project Gorgon I can tell you. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but I closed that chapter in my life. I've moved on. Look, don't tell anyone I said this. But if there's anything I've learned by living in Byzantium, it's this. If you go looking for the truth, you are looking for trouble. All right. Ask your questions. And then if you don't mind, don't mention Project Gorgon anywhere near me again. Minnie Ambrose. Oh, Olivia's brat.
Olivia's brat.
Ambitious, but like the rest of her family, irrelevant. She tried following her mother's example, failed, and if she ever tried again, I couldn't tell you. The name Ambrose doesn't mean anything to me anymore, or to anyone halfway respectable. The Ambroses are, how do I put this politely, obsolete? A family's name is only as strong as its enterprise. The Musgraves have Rizzos, and the Schuyler's have Auntie Cleo, and so we show those names the respect they deserve. The Ambrose name was associated with Project Gorgon. The project died, and so the Ambrose name died with it. That's just the way the game is played.
जब भी आता हूँ इस गेम में कोई बोला ही करता है. आरपीजी गेम है ना, इसलिए आरपीजी गेम्स में ज़्यादातर डायलॉग्स ही होते हैं. फाइट्स थोड़ी बहुत ही होती हैं, मतलब होती भी हैं तो एक सीन के लिए होती हैं, फिर वापस से डायलॉग शुरू हो जाते हैं. मतलब आरपीजी गेम्स में यही है ना कि तुमको स्टोरी खुद से डेवलप करनी पड़ती है कि तुम्हें किस टाइप की एंडिंग चाहिए. तो इसलिए ज़्यादातर बातचीत ही हो रही होती है पूरे गेम में.
Project Gorgon was designed to change the life of every worker on Halcyon. We weren't just building a product, we were trying to build a society. How many workers call Halcyon their home? What do they eat and when? How long do they sleep? How hard do they work? What are their most productive years? When do their organs begin to fail? That's the nature of my work. I study human life in order to determine its value. Jewelers appraise diamonds, and I appraise people. Of course you can. You can break the entire universe down into numbers and statistics. Human beings are as much a part of the universe as weather patterns and orbital mechanics. It's complicated. I'll be honest, I didn't join Project Gorgon because I wanted to satisfy my intellectual curiosity. I was courting the daughter of a spacer's
क्या हो
choice
गया ऋतिक
family.
भाई?
We were a mathematically congruent match, you
कैसे
see.
ये
I
वाले
had the proofs
इमोजी?
all written out and everything.
मुझे पता है सबको बोरिंग लग रही है ये गेम. कोई नहीं, इसका ये इस मतलब अभी जो मैं डीएलसी खेल रहा हूँ इसके बाद एक डीएलसी और है, फिर ख़त्म है ये गेम पूरी. फिर मैं कोई अच्छी गेम खेलूँगा इसके बाद. मतलब ये भी अच्छी थी पर व्यूअर को बोरिंग लग रही होगी जिनको आरपीजी गेम ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं है. यही सीन है.
Everything. Every project has a margin of failure. We expect
मैं तो God of War
setbacks,
18
complications,
खेल रहा.
delays. Project Gorgon
18?
experienced a cascade failure.
मैं तो God
One
of War
mistake precipitated another,
18 खेल
and
रहा हूँ
another,
अभी.
and another.
18 कौन सी आ गई
The
God of
labs
War?
failed to develop a safe drug. Human inquiry failed to perform their tests responsibly. An unsafe drug tested on unhealthy subjects by irresponsible
2018
That's
God of War
Project
4। अच्छा अच्छा बढ़िया है। अरे गॉड ऑफ वॉर 4 का सीन पता है, खेल तो मैं भी लूँ उसको, मन तो मेरा भी है, पर सीन ये मैंने उस गेम को ना इतने सारे लोगों की लाइव स्ट्रीम पे देख लिया और वॉक थ्रूज देख लिया ना उस गेम के कि मेरे को पूरी स्टोरी पता है। अब खेलने का मतलब ही क्या बनता है जब मेरे को पूरी गेम ही पता है भाई, समझ रहे हो? तो इसलिए भी मेरा मन नहीं कर रहा। मैं सोच रहा हूँ गॉड ऑफ वॉर तभी खेलूँगा 4 जब भूल जाऊँगा मैं कि क्या था इस गेम में क्या नहीं था, वही सब। वरना अभी तो मेरे को पूरी स्टोरी याद है भाई, इतनी वीडियो देख ली मैंने लोगों की।
I know. Project Gorgon was a failure of leadership. Leadership to which I belonged. I should have pushed for stricter supervision. We gave the other departments too much
रैग्नारॉक और आ
freedom
जाए
for
ना,
not
मज़े आ
enough
जाए
oversight.
पीसी पे।
Spare the rod, spoil the servant. Anarchy is not a crime. It is a symptom. The undisciplined workplace secretes anarchy the way our glands secrete enzymes. It's a principle of science. Sabotage came first. The chem lab, human inquiry, even my own office. Sabotage broke the discipline of our workplace, leading to confusion, leading to escaped
वेलकम
subjects,
बैक कभी
leading
भाई।
to anarchy.
मैं तो लूडो खेल रहा। लूडो, क्या बात, लेजेंडरी गेम। अभी प्रिवेरी का बेस्ट फ्रेंड इनवाइट। 100 से पहले ही 1997 पे खा रहा, सांप खा रहा। अच्छा, सांप सीढ़ी खेल रहे हो? सांप सीढ़ी लूडो तोड़ना है वो तो सांप सीढ़ी है। लैडर एंड स्नेक ये बोलते हैं ना उसको।
No one appreciates the value of good data. The holistic surveillance device I wear is an invaluable tool.
ऑफलाइन
gathering
खेल
data
रहा
on
गली के
all
बच्चों के
my
साथ। अरे
day-to-day
भाई
activities. My former
उस पे
colleagues can go into
कार्डबोर्ड
hiding
वाले,
in
उस पे
ignorance for all I care. I prefer the
कार्डबोर्ड वाले में जो
self-examined
आता है
life.
भाई, याद दिला दी भाई तुमने भाई। पहले बचपन में मैं बहुत खेलता था गली में अपने घर के बाहर जीने पे रख के। दोस्त आते थे भाई, सब मिल के खेलते थे भाई, मजे आते थे। सही है भाई। लूडो में सांप, वही तो मैं कहूँ, लूडो में सांप कहाँ से आया? सांप सीढ़ी खेल रहे हैं ये और लूडो बोल रहे हैं। इन्वेंटोरी, चलो भाई। मैं तो सस्ता मोनोपोली खेलता था बिजनेस वर्ल्ड। सेम, बिजनेस वर्ल्ड मैंने भी खेली है, वही कार्डबोर्ड वाले पे। एक बार मेरे को गिफ्ट में दिया था किसी ने, तब खेलता था मैं दोस्तों के साथ वो बिजनेस वर्ल्ड। उसमें नोट थे, डॉलर के नोट थे शायद, नोट और सिक्के में आए थे उसके अंदर। तो हम मतलब हमको रूल वूल नहीं पता थे उस टाइम पे कि क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता। हम अपने हिसाब से रूल बना के खेलते थे। हमको पता है, हम पहली बार ही देख रहे थे ये क्या गेम होती है बिजनेस वर्ल्ड। हमने अपने आप से रूल बना के खेलते थे उसमें। फीलिक्स का क्या आ रहा है ये? मोनोपोली में मोनोपोली बहुत होती है तो होगी ही। Retrieve the phonograph from cam lab. HI observation. यहीं चल रहा हूँ, ग्राउंड ब्रेकर भी चलता हूँ।
Someone has left a threatening message on your terminal, Captain. I was unable to trace its origin. Please make a note of it.
किसने भेज दिया भाई?
Welcome back. How can...
दिखा तो रही नहीं है। ग्राउंड ब्रेकर ऑक्सिलरी मेंटेनेंस पे।
The groundbreaker auxiliary base.
ग्राउंड ब्रेकर में है ना, न्योका को हटा के पार्वती को लेके चलता हूँ। भाई ये क्या जगह है? फाइंड अ वे इनटू मैरियन ब्लैक्सली रेजिडेंस। बंदे खड़े हैं क्या?
Why do I get...
Hey you, over here. Let's chat. Whoa, 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 it's Riz. Oh, fucking damn it. Every time.
लग तो मरोटर जैसा रहा है।
Hey, you're trespassing, and I'm armed. Maybe take a second look at your life choices, pal. Nothing. Never mind. What, you gonna report me? I don't work for them no more. I'm with the gardeners now. All of us kept the peace for the corpse once, but we got tired of being used. Yeah, we're the gardeners. We keep order back here on these dangerous streets. Hallways. You know what I mean. Anyway, Blakesley's given us standing orders to strongly discourage anyone who tries to come in. I like to, extrapolate from there. We ain't subversives. We're gainfully employed. This is a private contract. Miss Junlei can't get too mad if we rough up some trespassers. Especially if I was nice enough to warn him first. This deal with Blakesley's pretty sweet. We get paid, and we get fresh greens every week. My gums never looked healthier.
Still, she won't be happy if you cost her thousands in life insurance payouts. lie कर नहीं सकता मैं.
What? Shit. Insurance, you said? Fine, I guess.
I see what you did there, and I'm impressed.
Look, we won't give you trouble, but I can't say the same about Blakesley. She's got some crazy setup in there, so if you get shot, don't come complaining to me. This one's clear, guys.
Smooth, Captain.
Some days, it's like I don't know what to do with myself.
Come on, this is great. We don't have to beat up miscreants for them anymore. We can beat up
This must be a step up from Borscht factories, huh?
Doesn't look like either of us are sitting pretty in there.
You have to be kidding me. I thought I made myself click. Wait, what's with this camera? Hello? Damn it. Look, I get it. People need things spelled out for them. I'm sure one of the auto mechanicals can explain.
Grenade launcher 3.
Oh, are
भाई
you
ये
handsome? Looks like you got yourself a little snack.
स्प्रेड खा रहा है भाई ये। इधर जाना मुझे यार, ये मारे ना बस मुझे, मारेंगे।
Processing data. Beginning security patrol.
Make him Watch out!
कुछ तो उठाया भाई मैंने। आवाज इतनी आ रही है, कितने कीड़े हैं इसके अंदर, दिख कोई नहीं रहा।
Observation log 8. Who knows?
अब वो जो उठाया
Subject
उसकी वो
number,
बजी है भाई।
well, let's call him Percy. Percy here has discovered the secret to success. He has lifted the veil and found the pattern. He wakes up, he listens for that bell 3 times a day. Food rains from the sky. He eats, he waits. Life is easy. But the second your molt comes in, pal,
Real slick.
System of searching for
Take your
unknown.
best shot, asshole. Here I go!
I'm speaking.
You got it, Captain. Their mistake.
so who the fuck? Oh, wait, hang on, I can't hear a damn thing. Just gonna shut this thing off. Right. Marion Blakesley, what can I do for you, Mr. Home Invasion?
I need to get in the HIA facility on Gorgon.
Cute. There have to be easier ways to steal some corporate property. Go chat up Sublight. Gorgon? I holed up in a forgotten cargo bay of a rotting colony ship just so I could never hear that name again. But here you are. I really didn't expect today to go this way. Shit. I should have brought another pack of smokes. The Gorgon project gave us Adrena time in the end, but that's just the Bo Spacer's choice stuck on the whole mess. Corporate demanded a product they could throw onto shelves. That put the squeeze on low at Chem to develop formulas, samples. But how do you know if the product works?
You run tests, see what happens. That's where human inquiry and auditing came in. I ran HIA, and HIA ran the tests again and again and again. And what happens is a whole lot of wasted time and even more bodies. Testing supervisor. I designed the initial testing regimens, managed the staff, made sense of the test results. Tried to anyway. People are complicated, and I don't just mean the test subjects. Try and avoid working with people if you can. It always gets messy. I'd have tidied up a little if I knew you were going to break in. You've heard the adverts, right? Work day and night, still feel refreshed the next morning. Now, what we tested for was dexterity, efficiency, compliance. The traits of a good employee. Numbers never came out right. I could have pumped gallons of those chemicals into every living soul in this colony. Wouldn't have changed that. What we got was marauders. And I got a hefty corporate paycheck for it, too, up until it all fell apart. That's not the part that made Spacer's Choice give up, anyway. You can still buy Adrena time, after all. We had a few weird accidents, escapes, minor setbacks. But one day, all the test subjects got loose. Sabotage, they said. Wasn't just us. All of the facilities got hit hard. Shut us down for a while. That turned out to be the last straw. Nah, didn't much care by then. Don't care much now. Spacer's Choice wasn't getting much use out of us anymore, so they shuttered the project, kicked Adrena time out the door. And I came here. I could have gone back to Byzantium, found a position somewhere else. Even started up something new, like mostly. But I couldn't stop thinking about. Indulge a scientist. What do you want out of this investigation of yours? Trying to liven up your memoir? Really? What good can that possibly do? Your crew feel the same? Heck of a world out here for the shy types. What do you get out of headbutting murderous auto mechanicals for your captain here?
A family. Or something near to it. We don't always get along or nothing, but what family does?
Fair enough. That's all I've got. Here, I still have this pass.
मिल गई
Don't much
पास
feel
की।
like hanging on to it anymore. Made my exit the moment the project started falling apart. Had to steal some credentials. This should get you into the volunteer induction entrance. Please, I just messaged people with fake demands for their passwords. That's when they didn't just leave codes written down on pieces of paper. If I couldn't talk my way out past a simple facility lockdown, I'd be working for Rizzo's. That'll get you inside. What you do from there, that's up to you. Come on, I've left it behind me. You wouldn't. Damn it. Fine. Fine, here, I remember one of my access codes. Just punch in the keypad equivalent for replication. Should get you into the offices. Maybe get you to my terminal a little sooner. Go test that persistence of yours out on Gorgon. Yeah. I'll make sure the auto mechanicals don't bother you on the way out. Take it. Just drowning in dining options down here.
रीच ह्यूमन एंड उससे पहले इसके पास भी जाते हैं ना, ओलंपस ऑर्बिटल फास्ट ट्रैवल हो जाएगा। भाई जाऊँ कहाँ से?
Captain, an unknown vessel is approaching our ship. Their intentions are currently indeterminate. Once I deduce their intentions, I will play one of two audio signals. A cheerful fanfare if they are friendly, alarms if they are hostile. Their intentions are no longer unknown. The unknown vessel has deployed a boarding mechanism. They will attach themselves to our airlock and attempt boarding shortly. That sound indicates that a boarding mechanism has successfully attached to our airlock. Captain, I am pleased to inform you that we are currently in the process of being boarded. I have been programmed to simulate joy and excitement at the opportunity to test my limited defensive capabilities. Captain Hawthorne installed a lethal shock trap on our airlock in the event of an invasion. I am prepared to deploy this trap at a moment's notice.
Our airlock as a death trap.
I was bluffing, Captain. When we met in Emerald Vale, my systems were not fully operational. Even if they were, I might have made an exception for you. The invading ship appears to be a decommissioned storage vessel. The crew are either pirates or freelancers. My opinion of their competence is low. Their ship is using a tracking device too sophisticated for their primitive astrogator. I conclude they are receiving outside assistance. If you prefer to make an escape, I can disable their boarding mechanism. However, as long as that tracking device remains on board their ship, they will be able to find us again. Yes, Captain. I am capable of deploying the Unreliable's articulated thrusters to dislodge their ship from our own. This is a temporary solution, however. A permanent solution may require your personal intervention.
अच्छा, मैं ही
Understood,
करता हूँ
Captain.
फिर।
I will be deploying the Unreliable's lethal deterrence system. Please approach the airlock and enjoy the show. Now initiating more welcome protocol.
piss off Ada.
1 मिनट आया मैं ज़रा. चलो भाई. पार्वती को हटाओ, न्योका को ले लो, घुसो. Coach Stelly's credentials.
How many times do I have to tell you people, don't stand so close to the speaker? I can hear you breathing. Let me stop you right there. It's against freebooter team policy to borrow from the opponent's playbook. I'll admit, this attack hasn't gone strictly according to plan. But as we like to say in the league, no strategy survives contact with the opponent. Let's call this round a draw. You head back to your end of the field, I'll regroup my team, and we'll see where things take us in the second half. What do you say? That's about the answer I expected. Well, can't blame a coach for trying. Here's the problem. I can't let you live, but as long as you're on my ship, you've got the advantage over us. So, we're at an impasse. Freebooters. Come on, pal, respect the brand.
हेलो हैकिंग ज्ञान भाई, कैसे हो? वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम. राम 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 भाई, राम राम. टेकनेट का सारा माल लीक हो चुका है. हाँ, तो टेकनेट लॉन्च भी तो होने वाली है. कितने ही दिन रह गए? मेरे ख्याल से 2-3 दिन ही तो बचे हैं शायद. लीक हो भी जाए तो क्या ही है. लोगों ने तो टेकनेट बीटा में भी खेल ली थी.
Upsetting some powerful people poking around Gorgon like that. Ah, damn it. Forget I said that.
अरे भाई.
Take your best shot, asshole.
काफी बेकार एंड है, बिल्कुल मजा नहीं आया. बेकार है. एंडिंग पे दिख गई क्या उसमें? अबे ये क्या सीन है? सबको मार दिया इसने. मर गया। प्लाज्मा लॉन्चर 2.0 उठा लो भाई। जितनी हाइप करी गई थी उतना कुछ खास माल नहीं है टेकनेट की स्टोरी में, और एंडिंग तो एकदम बकवास। अच्छा भाई, ऐसा ही होता है, अगर तुम किसी चीज़ से एक्सपेक्टेशन रखते हो ना तो कभी वो एक्सपेक्टेशन तुम्हारी पूरी नहीं हो पाती। तो ये जो गेम वाले हैं ना, ये फालतू का एक्सपेक्टेशन बढ़ाते हैं ट्रेलर दे दे के बार बार, और एंड में डिसअपॉइंटमेंट दे देते हैं। यही होता है हर बार, तो इसलिए मैं कभी एक्सपेक्टेशन रखता ही नहीं किसी चीज़ से। अबे कौन सी गन यूज़ कर रहा है ये तगड़ी? और यहाँ तो भाई ब्लॉक ही कर दिया। अबे कुछ ज़्यादा ही बंदे नहीं है, और तगड़े भी ऊपर से। देख के मारना पड़ेगा। एक मिनट बस ज़रा। चलो ये ऊपर चलो, फेल दूंगा अब तो।
Make him regret it.
भाई गंदा मार रहे हैं, इसको डैमेज भी नहीं हो रहा। मर गए। स्नाइपर बढ़िया भाई। टा टा टा। ओ भाई हेड ही हेड मारो, कितना गंदा डैमेज दे रहा है। ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर 3। ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर चलाता तो हूँ नहीं। ले भाई ये रहा।
You know, I feel a little snubbed.
स्टोरी
We
एकदम
were having
बकवास
a
है और
civilized
सिर्फ
conversation
ऑनलाइन
over that intercom, and you
बैटल्स
just
के लिए
walked off.
4200 काफ़ी ज़्यादा
Now
है
you're
टेकन हिट के
barging
लिए।
into my office,
अच्छा
muddying tracks all over my
कोई
phone.
नहीं, आएगी
A
तो मैं भी
little
खेल के देखूंगा
respect for
स्टोरी,
the ship. Is
फिर
that too
देखेंगे
much to
कैसी है
ask?
कैसी नहीं। खेलनी तो मुझे भी है उसकी स्टोरी।
Yeah, but I had every intention of respecting the upholstery. I would have had you spaced or shot in the bathroom or something. You're the captain of the Unreliable. You dropped out of the sky in Emerald Vale, and whatever you've been doing on Gorgon, you've upset my employer. You and I are in a bit of a situation. I don't get paid unless you're dead. And a man's gotta make a living. You understand.
अटैक, चलो भाई अटैक करना पड़ेगा। चलो भाई पहलो पहले गया।
That was fun.
Dun, dun, dun. भाई कौन सी जगह है? बाय करके मत खेलना, पहले क्रैक करना। हाँ देखूंगा, किसी से मांग लूंगा। बहुत लोगों ने खरीदी है वैसे भी, कोई दे दे तो।
Welcome back, Captain. I understand you have resolved your differences with our former boarding party. Are you ready to depart?
और क्या?
Understood, Captain. Resuming our course.
पहुंच गए?
Remember. That you are.
We were hoping to find Lo alive, right?
Keep it together, Kelly. Just breathe, Kelly. Everything's gonna be all right. Just wait, just wait, just wait. They can't open the door. Eventually, their security protocols will reset. Just wait through the next charging cycle. The supply drop will be here. Tomorrow, the next day. When it comes, just sneak onto the ship. Easy as you please. Who's out there?
Whatever you are scared of, I'm pretty sure it's dead.
What? No! I don't want to die. I thought I did, but I don't. So just get gone. And be quiet when you do, please. Would you mind? Really? I would be indebted to you for life. But how do I know I can believe you? I'll have to come out to assess it myself. Hold on. I'm opening the door.
Let me just catch my breath. I swear, my heart's trying to punch its way out of my chest. Law, I'm so lucky you came along. I know it sounds crazy, but a little while back, I'd been gearing myself up to take a long walk off a short turbine platform. Then the security mechanicals broke out into a massacre, and I realized I really want to live. How can I help you help me get out of here? I'm Kelly Marine, the receptionist. And before you ask, I wasn't manning the visitor's desk when the mechanicals went haywire, 'cause no one comes here. Not ever. Not since all us station workers were dropped off at the start of the project a year ago. Project's on a yearly rotation cycle. Once a year, Auntie Cleo reviews our work and decides if we get more rations, personnel, deadlines, that sort of thing. At first, I thought it was an honor, getting assigned to a lab up in the ether high above Olympus. But I didn't know what it'd be like, day in and day out. I ask myself that question a lot, and then I realize I'm talking to myself. Cabin fever sets in at about 90 days. Auntie Cleo's official term is contagious irritable claustrophobia, and it ain't covered by the company's medical policy. If I had to guess, you'd probably find his body either in his office or the labs.
Body?
Or heck, he could have been on the
Barra
toilet. I don't know. No bones about it, he was the smartest of us all. Maybe he evaded the automechs too. Like what? Pink slip protocol. How should I know? I just monitor the front desk. Well, except for the last couple of days when I've been hiding out in here. If you work at OOPS, you're doing research and development.
Oops.
If we're not researching or
Object-oriented
developing fast enough,
programming.
the protocol's there to put the fear in us. Somebody messed up. When one of us makes a mistake, the whole facility pays for it. I know it sounds harsh, but it was in our contracts and everything. Oh, this lab was built for the sole purpose of brewing an advanced version of anthracillin. Dr. Lowe was spearheading the initiative. Science stuff isn't really my area, though, so I don't know more than that. Just a feeling I got. Every day was the same as every other day. I felt like I was stuck in a circle, you know? Started imagining what it'd be like to break that circle. Station goes in a circle around the planet, so what if I just dropped off the edge? But after what I've seen, after what happened, I don't want that anymore. I want to live. Do I ever? Drop me off on the groundbreaker and I'll be out of your hair in no time. But you said if I opened the door... Oh, all right. I'm not much in a position to barter. Take it. I swear this is all I have.
अच्छा जी और कुछ नहीं है अबे यहाँ पे है तो
Okay, all right. The sooner we're back on solid dirt, the better.
It ain't stealing if no one sees.
Unexpected noise sweep.
अबे भाई अबे मार दिए दोनों कंपेनियन मेरे। इसको डैमेज क्यों नहीं हो रहा भाई? ये बाइनरी नंबर क्यों लिख के आ रहे हैं लेफ्ट में? क्रिपल कर सकता हूँ। मर गया भाई।
No, that won't do it all. Jasper, you imbecile. Where did I put the... Oh, wait. Looks like the Gates is dead. That's good, actually. Shush. No talking. Concentrating. Damn it. I almost had it. The formula was in my mind, and I almost had it. I was so close to a breakthrough, I could practically taste it. You really did pick the worst time to manifest. Sky High, my magnum opus of psychostimulants. I feel like I've already explained this to the last hallucination. Oh, hang on. I see what's happening. You're real. Ergo, not a hallucination. This is interesting. I have several questions for you. Let's start with the obvious. Who are you, and how are you even alive? All sorts of things. Science, mainly. A little bit of research. If you're talking about all the dead bodies, that'd be the Pink Slip Protocol. Right. That answers that. Next question. Do you come bearing fresh pharmaceuticals?
Something tells me he's not looking for caffeinoid, Captain.
Look, we all know you're here to interrogate me. If I'm going to go through this ordeal, I'm not doing it sober. New friends mean new birthdays to keep track of. And I can't spare much room in my mind palace for frivolous trinkets of information. But in this case, I'll make an exception. Auntie Cleo instituted the Pink Slip Protocol. Fancy marketing term that translates to, "We're not satisfied with the quality of your work, so we're revoking your lifetime contracts." Can you believe Auntie terminated my entire team? It's a terrible setback. For my team, I mean, not for me. Not this time. I'll continue the work on my own if need be. Ah, right. How do I put this? This is not the first time I've lost a research team to corporate mismanagement. It's the second. Auntie had been threatening to instigate Pink Slip Protocol for months, though I honestly didn't think they'd have the stones to do it. I was on the verge of giving Auntie the results she wanted. Well, almost on the verge. Approaching the verge. The point is, I didn't think this would happen. Bureaucratic procrastination and some incompetent saber-rattling. Before I was traded, I worked on Project Gorgon. I lost that team by attrition. Management turned the screw on my team. Forced me to fire 1 in 10 researchers. The few of us that remained were overworked and exhausted. We didn't have much of a security detail. I don't know how the primals got loose, but my team didn't stand a chance. You've done your research. Yes. The unfortunately named Mr. Goodfellow decided his ego was more important than our research. We were designing a drug the likes of which Halcyon had never seen. A veritable panacea that cured lethargy and guaranteed a lifetime of productivity. I was overwhelmed, overworked, frustrated. Forced to submit unfinished samples, failing to meet impossible deadlines. I started self-medicating to enable my genius to perform at a greater capacity, to forget, to endure, to feel nothing. Project Gorgon was in its final days when the primals attacked our lab. It wasn't long until Spacer's Choice authorized my transfer to this facility. Human Inquiry was supposed to be responsible for testing Adrenatime. Under normal circumstances, the chem lab wouldn't have had to perform live tests. But creative incubation pressured my team with impossible deadlines. The prototypes we delivered to Dr. Blakesley at Human Inquiry were poor because we were rushed. I had to begin experimenting on my own. I had to perform my own tests, so I used primals. They're not the best choice for test subjects, but I was working for Spacer's Choice. Whoever reached greatness by coloring within the lines. And besides, my lines often move around on the page. My point is, I was doing my job. I was doing science. I will continue to do so until my mind or my body expires. Auntie Cleo wants us to develop Anthracillin Plus, a new and improved version of the original Anthracillin formula. And what Auntie wants, Auntie gets. Eventually. I was making considerable progress. I can't possibly fathom why they prematurely terminated the project. Right. A few moments ago, when I thought you were a hallucination, to be perfectly honest, I was hoping you'd forgotten. Auntie needs to be patient. I'll eventually get around to developing Anthracillin Plus. My priority right now is sky high. Once I perfect my formula, I'll be able to keep my mind functioning at peak performance without any pesky distractions. Like feelings. No, you don't. There's nothing interesting in the chem lab. There's nothing interesting in Gorgon at all. Gorgon is a featureless rock dragged along by the gravitational current of a barren asteroid belt. The chem lab is a graveyard. You won't find anything there but the dead. Dr. Olivia Ambrose was one of the finest scientists in the colony. If you're risking your life to retrieve her journal, there's likely a good reason. If you've set your heart on exploring my old labs, I won't try to dissuade you. Indulge me with a favor, and I'll give you the access you want. The electromechanical turbine is offline. Without any power, I can't possibly continue my work. Be a dear and reactivate it for me. That's all I ask.
ठीक है भाई.
No, I'm not stepping out of my lab. Not under any circumstances. I can't bear to look at what's out there. Take the elevator to the storm platform at the top of this facility. Reactivate the turbine, and I'll give you the access you want. Of course you do. Well then, let's hear them. One thing at a time, my chatty accomplice. Turbine repairs first, interviews later.
चलो भाई. भाई बड़ी तेज लिफ्ट है ये तो. फुल स्पीड. अरे भाई कितना ऊपर आ गए.
Son of a Peril! Is there a single planet in this fucking colony that ain't trying to kill us?
भाई साहब.
My kinda action! How about that? I'm on it!
Beginning security.
Anyone else?
ये किस चीज के लिए ये बंद पड़ा है.
Incoming! Here we go! Covering you!
Swarming in air.
इससे पहले ये देखूं भाई, यहाँ पे किसी की बॉडी पड़ी है। साइंटिस्ट ही है तो। भाई बिजली गिर रही है इसके ऊपर।
Facilities back on the grid, and my pipes again floweth with the sweet, sweet essence of my salvation. I suppose I have you to thank for realigning the machine. Of course, Jasper, you imbecile. You'll need my voice to get into the chem lab. I'm obviously not coming with you, so I'm giving you a recording of my dulcet speech. This recording should get you into the chem lab. I hope whatever you're after is worth the trauma. I wouldn't go back there if I was higher than the mercury levels in a can of salt tuna. Wait, take my gun while you're at it. If you end up dying on Gorgon, there's a non-zero chance I'll feel partially responsible. Neither of us want that. Die, perhaps? Automechanical sentries are generally programmed to ignore corpses. I don't like the idea of going back to that place, to that life. Yes, I know it's not me risking my throat gallivanting around Gorgon. It's you, for whatever madcap reasons you've got. I've helped you once, and I don't feel great about it. I made a clean break from Gorgon, and now it feels like you're asking me to tether myself back to that place.
Live 150. भाई लाए तो कर ही नहीं सकता मैं तो बहुत ज़्यादा।
If you'll excuse me, my experiments cry out for my attention.
चलो एक मिनट, अभी कोई डायलॉग आया होगा इस पे?
I'm on the verge of... I'm... I...
नहीं आया
If you...
भाई। रास्ता कहाँ है निकलने का? यहीं से आया था क्या मैं? अच्छा मेरे साथ चली गई तो।
I'm still here. Still amongst the living. For now. Hopefully for a lot longer than now, too.
इसको ले कैसे जाऊँ? डायलॉग तो आ नहीं रहा कोई।
Nice and easy.
ये तो वही जगह है। यहाँ पे कुछ काम ही नहीं है पर।
Do drop me off on the ground. Oh, thank you so much. I'll just hide in a crate or something. You won't even know I was there. Here, this is my official laboratory headgear. I won't be needing it anymore, so it's all yours.
चलो भाई। कितने घंटे की स्ट्रीम हो गई? टाइम उड़ता हुआ चले जाता, पता भी नहीं चलता। 3 घंटे ज़्यादा हो गए भाई।
You're adjusting before you pull. You're anticipating.
Is something leaking, or does it always smell like this?
Shoot a friend
Not
on
that I'm
accident.
complaining. I'm just curious.
That's on account of your stance. You want to lean into it. Embrace it.
इसको ग्राउंड ब्रेकर पे छोड़ना है। ग्राउंड ब्रेकर पे छोड़ता हूँ पहले।
The groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
कहाँ गई है? बाहर चली गई क्या? भाई दिख तो रही नहीं बाहर।
Hey there! Got word on the wireless. Your flag's cleared. You're free to go. Hope you enjoyed your time on Groundbreaker, the last free port of call in all the colony. We don't need luck. We got June Lay.
लगता है निकल ही गई वो शिप से।
You're adjusting before you pull. You're anticipating.
Of course I'm anticipating it. What if I shoot a friend on accident?
That's on account of your state.
चलो भाई ऐसा करते हैं, इसको अपने 2 क्वेस्ट बचे हैं ये, इनको कंटिन्यू करेंगे नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में, ठीक है। और एक इसका साइड क्वेस्ट बचा है, ये भी नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में ही। इसका साइड क्वेस्ट एक कैम लैब में है ना, कैम लैब में तो अपने को जाना ही है। और दूसरा कहाँ पे था, ह्यूमन इंक्वायरी एंड ऑडिटिंग ना, उसमें भी हमको जाना ही है, ये रहा। तो नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में ये सारे क्वेस्ट अपने हो जाएंगे, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में मेरे ख्याल से ये वाला डीएलसी भी कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, तो कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं। तो कल ये डीएलसी ख़त्म करके हम नेक्स्ट डीएलसी शुरू करेंगे, मर्डर ऑन एरिडानोस जो भी नाम है। और कल तो ये कंप्लीट कर ही देंगे, ठीक है। चलो स्टोरी तो अच्छी जा रही है वैसे, कोई दिक्कत की बात है नहीं। चलो भाई, थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग, जो भी देख रहा था। मिलता हूँ मैं आपसे नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में। बाय बाय।